You know, I remember when I was a little kid, swine flu happened, and like people were getting all upset, like, "Oh my God, swine flu is happening! Ah, we have to close all the schools!" And then there was like this whole big panic, and like all the schools were closing, and like there were like pictures of this high school principal that died from swine flu, and that was like all of the news. And then all of a sudden, I opened the paper one morning, or rather, I was a little kid at the time, so I didn't read the paper. But my mom opened the paper, and it was like, oh, they found a cure for swine flu, and then that was it. That was it. After that, swine flu never appeared in the news again. So when I first heard that there was this coronavirus outbreak in China, my first reaction was that I thought it would be like swine flu, where people would get all hysterical about it. The media would stir up hysteria in order to make money, and then bam, they would cure it. I've changed my mind. It's I was wrong, unfortunately. This disease really does look like it's serious. Or actually, no, it doesn't look like it's serious. It is serious. I mean, jeez. This really is a pandemic. This is not media. I mean, granted, some of it's media hysteria, but I don't think this is just media hysteria. I think it really is as serious as people are making it out to be. Now, in fact, I think it's actually less serious than some people are making out to be. Well, no, more serious. I meant to say more. It's more serious than what people are making it out to be. Specifically the Chinese government, but I'll get to that later. You know, I've been following Mr. Mediker's coverage of the coronavirus, he's and one of the things that he correctly pointed out was that it's very likely that China is hiding the numbers. And the official numbers that the Chinese government is putting out are as bad as it is if you've been following Mr. Mediker's coverage of this freaking virus. And the Chinese government is likely lying about the extent to which this virus is screwing over China. So basically, things are really bad in China. Now, I think that this virus is really bad. It's a pandemic. It's going to go down in history as a pandemic, and the Chinese government is hiding the numbers. And I think that this does have the potential to spread to the US and kill a lot of people here. Now, here's the thing. As of the time I'm recording this video, which is 12 o'clock a.m. on February 6th, as of the time this video is being recorded, there is absolutely no excuse or any rational reason why anyone should be flying into the US from China. None. None whatsoever. Now, what inspired me to make this video in the first place was that if you follow Curtis Yarvin, or Mencius Moldbug, he recently posted an essay on the website The American Mind about this new coronavirus, where he basically said that we would be better off closing our borders, but that government won't close its borders because of its universalist morality. Now, thankfully, Moldbug was wrong on this, but I think that it might be too late, to be honest. I think that Mr. Medicker's concern over how fucked China and the world is due to this virus is very legitimate, and I think that this virus really is going to turn into something really bad. Actually, no, it already has turned into something really bad, but I don't see any reason for optimism with regard to the situation in China. Now, here's something really interesting Here's something really interesting. Now, of course, the main reason why I got inspired to make this rant about the coronavirus was Mencius Moldbug's or Curtis Yarvin's essay on the American mind, but there is something very interesting that I want to talk about. What happened was that the virus sadly spread to Toronto, Canada. And predictably, there was a backlash against the Chinese community in Toronto. And what happened was that people started, quote-unquote, being racist toward the Chinese. And then what happened was that the far left in Canada started going, like, really crazy, and they were like, we can't use this as an excuse to be racist. And it just shows you how far gone our political opponents are. I mean, think about it like this. Imagine that we make contact with aliens on a planet called Greebop. And the native Greebopans, meet us, we make contact with them, we trade, and things are good. But then we discover that the Greebopans, for whatever reason, accidentally created a virus on the planet Greebop, and it's causing a pandemic on planet Greebop, to the point where many people are dying, and the Greebop government has to quite literally quarantine all of its major cities and take extremely authoritarian measures to prevent the spread of the virus that exists on planet Greebop. Now imagine that because of this virus, a lot of native Greebopans immigrate to planet Earth. And consequently start spreading the virus over to planet Earth. In this context, does it make sense to discriminate against the Greebopans or the space aliens? Absolutely it does. Yes. If we stop the aliens in this scenario that I laid out for the purposes of explaining my point of view on this topic, if the space aliens are immigrating to planet Earth, but like 1% of them are carrying a deadly virus, that's a good enough reason to, at bare minimum, shut off immigration from the Greebop planet to planet Earth. And in fact, that's not only a good enough reason to shut off immigration from planet Greebop, but it's actually a good enough reason to be suspicious of the space aliens in general. Even if you're talking about a space alien that was born on planet Earth due to immigrants from planet Grebop. You know, think about it like this. If you live in an area of a city on planet Earth where there's a lot of immigrants from a foreign planet, and you hear that there's a pandemic going on, a massive virus that's spreading on this foreign planet, and then all of a sudden you're walking down the street and you start seeing a space alien and he's like coughing a lot, or even just a little, you're naturally going to be suspicious of the space alien. It's the same thing with the Chinese community. People like Justin Trudeau, or that guy from Toronto that was like, I'm gonna use my hands to express myself. They have no concept of common sense whatsoever. They have this odd idea in their heads that hurting people's feelings is somehow more of a moral violation than, or not hurting people's feelings is more important than preventing the spread of the deadly virus. I'm sorry, but there is absolutely no reason why we should, as of the time this video is being recorded, there is absolutely zero reason why we should allow anyone to fly into the US from China or fly into Canada from China. And in fact, there is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't implement policies to combat the coronavirus, even if those policies are racist towards Chinese. Sorry. Look, even if I were to agree that racism is bad, which that's, of course, another issue in and of itself that I've addressed in other videos, but let's say for the sake of argument that racism is something immoral. Okay, but which is more important, not being racist or preventing the coronavirus? Obviously preventing the coronavirus. Jeez. Now here's the other thing that I want to say before I end this quick video. Actually, there's two more things I want to say. The first thing that I want to say is, sorry that I haven't uploaded a video in a while. Life, unfortunately, gets in the way. I have my own life to manage outside this YouTube channel, and I honestly wish I had more time to make videos, but okay. That's the first thing. Second thing. Part of the problem with this whole coronavirus thing is that how should I say it? The world has too much population. It is a well-known scientific fact that the more population you have in a given area or a given country, the more at risk you are for a pandemic. China has a massive population to the point where they actually have overpopulation problems. And so they are more at risk for a pandemic. But of course the same thing goes with basically the entire world in general. So, if we want to prevent the spread of pandemics, we should start by, 1, abandoning the idiotic notion that people's feelings matter, or being tolerant matters more than preventing pandemics. And two, we need to get the world's population just a teeny weensy bit down. And I'm not suggesting any radical measures, but like, at bare minimum, we should at least get the world population of planet Earth down by about maybe 5% or so at bare minimum. So thanks for watching. If you liked this video or agreed with anything that I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Wolf signing out.